Siyabonga baba. You know, it's very interesting when you have members, you know, Honorable Minister, why others are saying, because he's here physically. Yesterday, the Honorable Member was having a birthday. We're dealing with the Minister of Cogda. So he said the Minister is absent. So today it's him who's asking, he's on the virtual platform. So it's very interesting. So we're going to join him to celebrate a birthday. We're wishing you many more years, Honorable Sileku. Happy birthday, Honorable Sileku. I'll now call upon Honorable Minister for Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities to respond to question number 39 asked by Honorable Ndongeni, whilst at the same time inviting my House Chair, another Mama. Honorable Minister, question number 39 asked by Honorable Ndongeni on the virtual platform.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and to Honorable members and Honorable Minister and members of the House. The department is collaborating with other line departments, provinces, and local government structures in advancing gender mainstreaming across policies, programs, and their other day-to-day work. Towards this end, the department is using several and different mechanisms to reach as widely as possible officials in the different departments. The most important mechanism is that is led by the Director General, who initiates one-on-one meetings with individual DGs, including provincial DGs, and sets the way for the officials to thereafter engage. This is being a bearing fruit, but given the number of institutions that we are having to engage with, it is a long-winded and protracted effort. The department has also been developing MOUs with different departments and institutions with and we signed some MOUs, for example, with the Department of Agricultural Development and Land Reform, Transport, Human Settlements, to mention just but a few. The department holds regular meetings with national departments and provinces on gender mainstreaming. We are confident that we will be making progress and engaging with individual line departments on mainstreaming and mainstreaming on specific issues. To cite just a few, on the issue of climate change, environment, waste management, ocean economy, we are engaging with different sections of the Department of Forestry, Fisheries, and Environment. We do so similarly with the other land function departments. On the issue of gender responsive planning, budgeting, monitoring, evaluation, and auditing, we work and collaborate with the DPME and Treasury, and we work with all the departments and provinces providing workshops on the framework. We are also working with SALGA on providing to different provincial councillors workshops on Gambia framework, so that mainstreaming can be fostered, and even at the municipality level. The department has developed gender responsive planning, budgeting, monitoring, evaluation, auditing framework, which is adopted by cabinet, was adopted by cabinet in 2019. It is a tool for mainstreaming across the different levels of government. The department is currently also engaged on developing overarching national mainstreaming strategy, which outline guidelines for mainstreaming within specific sectors. This also includes the work we are undertaking on mainstreaming and gender responsive budgeting across the planning and budgeting cycle of government in collaboration with National Treasury and DPME, especially on the development of framework of the GRB and with all the guidelines. I say this emphasizing that these efforts are directly responding to the recommendations emerging from the updated Women's Charter 2021. I submit, Chair.
Thanks very much, Minister. I would like also to remind Minister and the members that, Minister, you've got 5 minutes and members got 2 minutes. I'll now ask Honorable Dongeni to do the follow-up question. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your elaborate answer to my question. It is very encouraging to hear about the cooperation between your department and other departments and institutions. The signing of MOUs with some departments is also very encouraging. My question is there any intention and timeframes to sign MOUs with outsiding departments?
Honorable member, if I got the question correctly, is we want this mainstreaming, gender mainstreaming, to be not just with government, but also make sure that the private sector also support this initiative because it is important. And as I said earlier on, very much in line with the updated Women's Charter review that we had just adopted through this House. So work is going on in that manner.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I'll now like to call the follow-up question from Honorable Baha.
Thank you, House Chair. Minister, the indicators that you're mentioning do not seem to be changing the difficult, harsh realities lived by women every day. It seems that the department ticks boxes and evaluates instead of real differences in people's lives. How can you make the indicators into something real instead of something on paper? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Member. When we deal with issues of women, youth, and persons with disabilities, we're dealing with a sector of vulnerable people that has been with us for years. So we are not about to start sticking the boxes. We are making a call to all society, to all communities, to all members of parliament to come in, join in, and let's all get used to responding in reality and not in ticking the box. That's why under normal circumstances, it would have not been necessary even to go further, to sign MOUs, to do this and that. But we really are trying to inculcate the culture of realizing that this is a reality that we really have to look at and implement in line with the mandate of the department.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I'll now call Honorable Chi Aplane for the follow-up question.
Thank you very much, Chair. Minister, striving for gender equality in our society has become a critical issue. Yet there still exist numerous gender equality policy implementation changes, which are as a result of leaders not being accountable, responsible, and committed to gender equality initiatives. Minister, will mechanisms developed also include the prevention and elimination of violence and harassment in the workplace? If so, please provide us with details. Thank you.
Thanks, Honorable Member. Minister.
Honorable Member, we really cannot agree with you more. All of us in the House, in our communities, the entire society, we have to put hands on the our shoulders on the wheel to make sure that we do away with patriarchy. We do away with toxic masculinity. We do away with the notion that we all have a responsibility to work together to make sure that that which we wish and that which will be good for a society of a country of more than 52% of the population, that they also get their happy day someday as we work together. It is a problem of society. The department is leading, but the department leads a lot of positive noises, not only from women, because these challenges affect women, but also the entire society.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. We're now on the fourth follow-up question from NM, Honorable M. Khatebe. You can continue, Honorable Member.
Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Minister, the matter of gender equality within our public.
Thank you.
I was not aware, Honorable Member, but I think the table can help. It's fine. Okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Minister, the matters of gender equality within our public sector workplace is very important, especially as the change of attitude towards women will be able to filter down into our local communities. I would like to know, how has your department engaged at local government levels to provide understanding and consultation with the relevant departments to fully understand any proposed policies in this regard? Thank you.
Thanks very much, Pungan.
Thank you,
Honorable Minister.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister, Honorable Member and Chair. As we were celebrating history of Banyana bringing back the Trophy Global World Cup to South Africa, we were harshly reminded that they earn 10 times less than what their counterparts get. We're working together with the Department of Public Service and Administration to make sure that there is equality in the work men and women or employees do, they get equal pay. Sometimes it's under notches, sometimes it's this and that. We are on a journey to correct the wrongs of our past. This anomaly that Honorable Member had referred to is not only in the municipalities, but also starting from national level. We really have a lot of work to do. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. We now come to the question that have been asked by Honorable Baha. To you, Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. The National Strategic Plan on Gender-Based Violence and Femicide has been infused into the annual performance plans of the departments and resourced within the existing baselines of their budgets, meaning that every department has a responsibility to make sure that we implement the NSP of the GBF of the first summit on gender-based violence and femicide. The department coordinates and monitors the implementation thereof. Monthly reports, progress reports are being facilitated from all government departments and sent to the President. Progress on implementation is reported to the President in all clusters of the Director Generals. The Director Generals provide strategic guidance and leadership collectively to upscale interventions and address blockages, if any. A critical role that the department is pursuing is that of coordinating the establishment of rapid response teams across the country. These structures play a vital role of preventing and responding to issues of gender-based violence and femicide in the district and local level. We are now invited gladly to work through also the district development mechanism, DDMs. Currently, the department is leading the process of developing a year 2 of the NSP of the gender-based violence and implementation progress report. The report is premised with Pillar 1 of the NSP on accountability. It gives an account on achievements in each pillar, challenges, lessons, and to improve on interventions and recommendations. The department has developed a comprehensive national prevention strategy that is designed to proactively predict, combat, mitigate gender-based violence and femicide by integrating primary, secondary, tertiary, and tertiary violence prevention. The strategy explicitly targets anyone in South Africa who is facing or is at risk of experiencing violence due to the gender women, youth, children, and LGBTQIA+ community people with disabilities. Prevention strategy is set out to intentionally transform the structural foundation of GBVF across provincial, local spheres. It seeks to strengthen the national delivery capacity, to roll out evidence-based prevention programs, further addressing harmful social and gender norms that lead to gender-based violence. Finally, it proposes proposes concretely to bring about measures to prevent gender-based violence and femicide. We say this truly ashamed of what has happened in Krugersdorp a few days ago. That's why when I started with my intervention, Chair, I said, we need the entirety of society to make this history. It was very, very painful.
Thanks, Honorable Minister.
Sorry, House Chair, can I just check on a point of clarity, please?
Honorable JJ.
Can the minister just repeat what is the competition that Banyana won? I just want to make sure what she said.
Well, it was on all media platforms. Banyana won the World Cup. Won the AFCON World Cup, Football World Cup.
It's not World Cup.
Okay.
Your
No,
Honourable Minister,
honorable
that's
members.
hilarious.
No, honorable members, you don't have to speak. If I didn't give you the permission to speak, please.
Africa Cup of
Africa Cup, yes.
Honorable members, we are continuing with our question number 36. The follow-up question number 1 is Honorable Baha.
No, thank you, Chairperson. It was the AFCON, it's Women's African Cup of Nations Minister, not the World Cup. Thank you, Chair. Let me get to my question. Minister, in your media statement response to the release of the 4th quarter crime statistics by SAPS, you expressed outrage and concern numerous times, but no solutions. What I would like to know from you, Minister, is whether there are any interdepartmental agreements with the SAPS. What are the set targets and how many of these targets have been met? And if they have not, who is to blame for this? Thank you, House Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Honorable Minister.
Honorable Chair, the leaders of South Africa all have a responsibility, in particular the department, under the Honorable President, Ramaphosa, who had appointed an interministerial commission, which includes us, the police, DPSA, social development, treasury, and to work together to make sure that we keep working with all of our society to make sure that we make this history. I did say when I started, we are fighting patriarchy. It has not been easy. That's why we're making a call to all progressive men and women to join the call.
Thanks, Honorable Minister. We continue, honorable members, with our follow-up question number 2, that is going to ask by Honorable Nchabile.
Thanks, thanks, thank you, Honorable Minister, for your response to the question. Gender-based violence is still very high in our society, as witnessed by the recent gang rape of 8 women by the so-called Zamazamas. Are there any positive results coming from the different intervention strategies that are implemented by the government to deal with this pandemic, gender-based violence? Thanks. Thanks.
Honorable Nchabile, thank you. The way GBVF is rampant in South Africa, it has been declared by our president as the second pandemic when we're entering the COVID-19. Almost every household in urban and rural areas have a story to tell. Groups, LGBTQI community, we all say so. Therefore, it becomes difficult to take stock of progress or even acknowledge progress, because one woman abused is one woman too many. What we have been informed is that in not less than 3 hours every day, a woman or a girl child is abused, raped, maimed, or killed. This really indeed has to come to an end. But yes, there are positive results coming from the different interventions in implementations by government. Across the 6 pillars of the NSP, of the gender-based violence and femicide, we have seen improvements. Increases in wider ownership of the NSP priorities across are being observed across the participating multi-stakeholders, including prioritization of gender-based violence and femicide by government during the COVID-19 pandemic, particularly during the lockdown. The accelerated accountability is even is bringing in a prevention where there is now comprehensive national gender-based violence and femicide prevention strategy. There are interventions implemented by the police, such as closure of illegal liquor stores. This initiative is critical to ensuring that we break the linkages between alcohol and gender-based violence. The strengthened legislative environment has ensured that the criminal justice system becomes victim-centric and that it addresses perpetrators' impunity. In terms of response, care, and support, there is concerted effort to support civil society organizations to come to the party, and they do, providing support in gender-based violence and femicide services. Economic cluster departments have heeded the call to drive the socio-economic empowerment agenda. Women's Economic Assembly, WECONA, was launched, and in this currently it is functional, and we are cascading it from national to provinces, and our wish is that it should go down to the local municipalities. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. The next follow-up question is going to ask by Honorable Deprey.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Minister, how many centers for victims of gender-based violence is currently operational countrywide, where women can report abuse and get interdicts and legal help if it's necessary? And how accessible are these centers to all the communities? And are there any new centers being planned for the future? Thank you.
Thanks, Honorable Member. Minister.
Thank you, Chair. We have committed through the National Development Plan and also through the UN that that by 2030 we will have made strides. The how many as in numbers should first start with the how do we change, how do we turn around our lifestyles and be counting how many women are living without fear and walking the streets, our girls and women with disabilities, without fears of being treated otherwise by those men I refer to as having toxic masculinity. We are focusing on not emphasizing on victims, yes, victims, but also survivors. They must get shelters temporarily, but the need is, as Minister of Housing and the municipalities and what I have been saying, permanent, strong, durable accommodation so that we can limit this anomaly. I thank you.
Thanks very much, Honorable Minister. The next follow-up question is going to ask by Honorable Motsamai.
Minister, gender-based violence re a bona e senya ditokelo tsa batho ba bomme ba re nang le bone lefatsheng lena. Letona, ke bogato bofeng o bo tsereng go sireletsa gender-based violence? Ke a leboga.
Ke a leboga Motlhomphegi. Bogato bo o bo kopang ke se ke le ka re ke bogato bo re bo gatang le mopresidente wa rena. O thomile ka go tlhoma setlhopha šomo sa di-ministera tše di-ministries goba dikgoro tše tlhano tše di tlhokomelanang le tlhokofatšo ya basadi. Se re boletše ka gore ge ba kwišitšwe botlhoko ba hwetše tšhireletšo, re šomišana le ba Department ya Public Works e seng mo le gore le rena fela ge re nyaka madulo re a kgopela mo go kgonegang gona ba re fa. Ka ntla ga fao kgoro ya rena a se fela go tšhireletša basadi re šomišana le maponisi. Ke gore basadi ba hwetše go itirela ba kgone go ba participants in the economic well-being of this country. Ke ka baka leo e bileng gape go dirilweng kgoeletšo ke ena moetapele wa naga gore 40% ya procurement ya mmušo e beele ka thokwana, e beele gona go thuša basadi le bana ba basetsana le baswa gore re kgone go tšwetša pele naga ya rena pele. Ka re botlhoki re bona bo na le karolo e kgolo mo go dira gore batho ba itshame le ka bodigata marokgwana bao ba ba gatelelang ba ba tlhophang.
Thanks very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, we are now on question number 40. that they have asked by Honorable M.N. Gilliam.
The department has been in the forefront in advocating and promoting the representation of women in science, engineering, and technology sector, briefly known as SAT. We have been working with different line functions, departments on different initiatives to promote the participation and representation of women in science, engineering, and technology sectors. Through our monitoring process, we can highlight that the DSI targeted postgraduate bursaries are funding to support women and young and emerging researchers has funded 359 or 64% of women out of 562 grant holders. The demographic targets for Black, let me say, African in particular and Black specifically, 80%, and women, 55% students supported were exceeded at honors and master's level, but at the doctoral level, more needs to be done to achieve equity in this distribution of bursaries, scholarships, and fellowships. We are urging them to address this issue. There has been 29% of the Innovation Fund allocation to PIC awarded to women. The Techno Girls initiative is one of the programs which is collaboration between UNICEF, our department, the Department of Basic Education, the State Information Technology and Agency, and OSU Consulting as the implementing partner. This project aims specifically to promote girls' participation and learning in science, technology, engineering, mathematics fields in which boys constantly outperform girls in South Africa. Candidates are selected from the countries under-resourced communities on the basis of the academic merit. This is to ensure that girls have even equal opportunities to excel in fields that is needed within the economy. The Techno Girl is an initiative of job shadowing program for girls with particular bias towards STEM careers. There is a national steering committee on women in the green economy established among the key government departments and organizations in the private sector. This sector is led by the department in collaboration with the DTIC. The committee includes the Department of Science and Innovation, as well as women in the automotive sector, women in the engineering fields, women in chemicals, and other science-related areas. In this committee, there is engagement on representation of women in the different sectors, as well as focus on economic opportunities for women. This covers science, engineering, and technology sectors as well. The department also collaborates with the Department of Science and Innovation, Higher Education and Training, and Basic Education on mainstreaming gender issues into their programs of work. The department also plays a key role in value add to draft white paper on science, technology, and innovation. The inputs from the department focus on issues regarding representation, participation, and empowerment of women in the sector. We report that the
Time up.
final work-
Your time is finished, honorable member. Remember,
Okay.
you've got 5 minutes.
Okay.
Honorable members, I'll call Honorable Gillion to do the first follow-up question.
Thank you, House Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the comprehensive response to my question. It is encouraging to hear about the different programs that the government has embarked upon to expand the representation and participation of women in the science, engineering, and technology sector. Are there any timeframes, Minister, in place aimed at reaching equal participation?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable Member. We have made commitments, as I said, through the our own NDG, but also we are working towards target dates of 50-50 gender parity by 2030 as determined globally in the UN Agenda 2030 and the SDGs by 2030. However, we are calling for acceleration of equality in participation and access by women in all spheres of life.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. I would like now to call Honorable N.M. Khatebe. Second follow-up question.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Minister, in 2021, only 35% of learners enrolled in matric wrote the final maths exams. Only 20% of the learners enrolled passed these exams. This dismal figure is largely contributed to by a lack of teachers within the SET sector. I would like to know, what is your department doing to ensure that women and persons with disabilities are being given additional support in order to be able to competitively feature within the SET sector? Thank you.
Thanks, Honorable Member. Minister.
We have a responsibility not only as the department, but all other colleagues in cabinet, in particular basic education, but not only that, the communities, to make sure that our children do go to school and do complete that which they said they were coming to school for, but also make it safe for girl children to walk the streets of South Africa and acquire the requisite skills that their country needs. I thank you.
Thanks, Honorable Minister. The next follow-up question is Arnold EFF. Honorable Arnold. Yes. You can continue.
Okay, thank you, House Chairperson. Minister, what reasons lie behind the slow pace of transformation in gender representation of women in the science, engineering, and technology sector? And what efforts have been made to address the challenges faced by women and girls in this sector, especially in the rural areas? Thank you.
Thanks, Honorable Member. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable House Chair. The same challenge we have and we've always had, which we have to bury, patriarchy. Release the hand, the other hand of a girl child, not to be responsible for everything in the household, including making sure that they also perform at the level we want them to perform academically. We have to make a call to all South Africans, starting with honorable members, that it is our responsibility, it's our call. The department is there to work with all of us to make sure that, as we have already started under President Ramaphosa and even earlier, make sure that we do not leave anyone behind, particularly girl children. Leave no one behind as we rebuild with resilience, particularly this August month, Women's Month, and beyond.
Thanks, Honorable Minister. I would now like to call the fourth follow-up question that is going to ask by Honorable Christians.
Thank you, House Chairperson. Honorable Minister, in South Africa, only 13% of graduates leaving tertiary institutions with qualifications in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics are women. Women remain underrepresented in these critical disciplines in which South Africa continues to experience skills shortages. Now, this disparity points to a lack of opportunity. And Minister, in many ways, women could be the answer to this shortage. What level of support is your department giving young girls to complete school, as this seems to be the major contributing factor? Additionally, Minister, I know that you've mentioned that you have rolled out some programs, but what exactly is your department doing with negative gender stereotypes, environmental circumstances of women, and negative social belief systems that prevent girls from reaching their full potential? Thank you, House Chairperson.
Thanks very much, Minister.
Thank you very much, House Chair and Honorable Member. This challenge, besides the efforts that I have enlisted earlier on, with which we are endeavoring on, even on signing MOUs with sister departments who are serving with us in the same government, and making sure that in the special sectors, the SCT, working together with the Department of Basic Education and Science and Innovation, we continue encouraging young women to excel. But not only that, but to also give them support, not only by pushing, but by also making sure that we give a helping hand to make sure that we turn around as we bury the patriarchy and leave no one behind, as we strengthen the hand of resilience of the South African women. In line with what women in this country have done in 1956 and even much earlier, we are not afraid. We are having a need to be supported to do what women can do best. And the department is not shy to work with all our communities to make sure that 50-50 is achieved in our lifetime. I thank you.
Thanks very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, now we are going to question number 25 that has been asked by Honorable Lee. Minister.
The economic cluster departments have developed initiatives and created opportunities to be explored by persons with disabilities. And in this financial year, 2022, the department will host an economic summit for persons with disabilities to, amongst many other, explore the low uptake and participation of persons with disabilities in the current economic initiatives. That's what we are busy with, Chair.
Thanks very much, Minister. We're coming now to follow up number 1, that is going to be asked by Honorable Lehihi.
Chairperson. Mokhuduthamaga, ke mafapha kgotsa ditlamo tsefe di le kae tse lefapha la gago le ikgolagantseng le tsona gore bolela batho ba ba tshelang ka bogole, segolobogolo basadi, katiso e maleba gore ba kgone go ikunyela mo kgolaganong eo? Ke a leboga.
Ra leboga, Honorable Minister.
Ke a leboga modulasetulo le leloko le le tlhomphegang. Tlhotlho e re lebaneng le yona e ya people living with disabilities e na le go itshama ka kokwani e tlhomilweng e leng ko ntlong ya yena moporesidente wa rena. Re šomišana mmogo le yona this initiative. Re kopana le bona kgafetša. We are also their secretariat. Re šoma gape le ba private sector. Even we want to make a call through a question that we need more and more private sector to be more interested in doing this. Let me also take advantage of your question and say, as we were launching the August month on the 1st, we saw waste, recycled waste products made by disabled people. Ba dirileng le ditulo le ditafole, ba dirileng le dilo tse kgabisang mo malapeng ko eThekwini, and we felt very proud. There's still a lot of room to be taken care of. We have a responsibility as a country that at least 7% of people with disabilities are participating in the economic well-being of our country. I thank you.
Thanks very much, Honorable Minister. The next follow-up question is going to ask by Honorable Chichi British.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Minister, in September 2019, our committee embarked on a visit to the Supported Employment Enterprise Centre in Cape Town. We were warmly welcomed there by the alternately abled community, who showed us with pride the products that they were manufacturing. From coffee trays, which a number of the members received on the visit, and they're still in my Cassia Park house, and I use it a lot, to lounge suites. There was literally nothing beyond their expertise. In order for these centres to grow and employ thousands more of this community, they simply need an opportunity for business. What is your department doing to encourage all government departments to set aside funds in order to procure specifically from these centres? Thank you.
Thanks, Honourable Member. Honourable Minister.
Honourable Chair, can I, with all humility, request you to just ask the Honourable Member to repeat the gist.
Honourable Chairperson, with your permission. Minister, I was saying that the Supported Employment Enterprise Centre in Cape Town, and I believe there are a number across the country, they focus on manufacturing of furniture, and household items, school desks, etc., etc. They are staffed by alternately abled people. That is the correct term, not disability, because people are alternately able, they are no less than anybody else. And the problem is that these centers are not supported as much as they should be, specifically by government. So I'm asking you as Minister of your department, what are you doing to talk to other departments and say, when you're purchasing office desks, when you're purchasing school desks, when you're purchasing office furniture, please give consideration to these centers, because with increased support, these centers will grow. And obviously then they will provide more and more employment for the alternately abled community. That's the gist of the question. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Honorable Member.
Well, thank you very much. We really cannot agree with you more. I have said earlier on, responding to the other questions, that we agree with the President that on government procurement, be it at the local, be it at the provincial or national level, there is a need for us to make sure that that set aside of 40% procurement is given or is felt by ordinary people, particularly the disabled people. 7% of that needs to get there. Our role, together with DPME, is to monitor if on annual basis this is going up, and that indeed it's not only talk, but indeed they are getting the support they need to get.
Thanks, Honorable Minister. Honorable members, who are continuing with our follow-up question. I would like now to call Honorable De Bruin.
Thank you, House Chair. Honorable Minister, although there are a number of agencies and schemes that provide access to credit facilities and grants for disabled entrepreneurs, which is a positive, my question would be, how many centers are currently operational that provide the necessary skills development for disabled entrepreneurs to sustainably utilize these credit facilities and grants? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Member. Minister.
Honorable Chair, this responsibility we share with social development. So we will keep giving you an update as and when we are receiving it. And let me also take this opportunity to say, we will also forward it in writing through your good offices.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Member, Minister. The next follow-up question is going to be asked by Honorable N. Nkosi.
Thank you very much, Honorable House Chair. And thank you, Honorable Minister, for your response. Honorable Minister, what is the role of the department in encouraging participation of persons with difficulties in economic activities? I thank you, Honorable House Chair.
Thanks very much, Honorable Member. Minister.
Well, we through you, Honorable House Chair, we have to work with the communities to unearth, to find these people with disabilities and find their capabilities, and working together with social development that has to look to their well-being. We work with them, and education, basic education, and innovation, particularly in this era of 4IR, that we should not find our people not having something to do because there's a lot that technology has brought to us which can be done.
Thanks, Honorable Minister. Honorable Minister, we are continuing with our questions. Now we're on question number 37 that have asked by Honorable Paha.
The pronounced economic threshold by President Ramaphosa has been mainstreamed in different programs of departments aimed at empowering persons with disabilities. The National Youth Development Agency, which is an agency of government overseen by the department, delivers various services and programs to develop and support youth entrepreneurs through financial and non-financial business development support services. In the year 2021 and 2022 financial year, the NYDA provided the following. 1, 2014 youth-owned enterprises were supported with financial interventions. Let me repeat that. 2014. 21,276 youth were supported with non-financial business development interventions. 3, 7,859 jobs were created and sustained through supporting entrepreneurs and enterprises. Last, 54 and 75 young people were capacitated with skills to enter the job market. In the 2021-2022 financial year, the NYDA grant program has used 46% of the grant on females, 52 males, 2% to persons with disabilities. There are continuous efforts to achieve gender parity to improve access by persons with disabilities to the grants as per the new approved disability strategy. I thank you, Chair.
Thanks very much, Honorable Minister. Honorable Park.
Thank you, Chairperson. Thank you, Minister, for your response. Minister, I think that where we missed each other on this question, there's a specific interest that I had on the people with disabilities, because that's where I think if you look at the Eastern Cape, for instance, you will find that there's more than 90% of unemployed people with disabilities. And so my main point of interest is more on the people with disabilities. Can you give specific instances of where your department has provided support to small businesses of people with disabilities, and how many businesses are currently being supported? Thank you, Chairperson.
Thanks, Honorable Member. Minister.
I will humbly request that we present the report in writing and also come back to this House to give the answer to the Honorable Member. But also largely, let me say to you, we have as a country, when I say we, I mean all of us, said we clamor to at least open access 7% access to people with disabilities throughout the country. So people who are living with disabilities in Eastern Cape are equally South African. The constitution of this country says so. We should take care of all our people as the constitution instructs. Thank you.
Thanks, Minister. I'll now call Honorable N.M. Hatebe.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Minister, we can all agree that unemployment in general is at unacceptable levels in South Africa. Worse is the fact that your department deals with more vulnerable people that fall within unemployment. I would like to know whether your department, in collaboration with others, please name them, have identified in rural and township economies, program-specific entrepreneurship and job skills development opportunities that can assist the above-mentioned vulnerable groups. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Honorable Member. Honorable Minister.
Honorable Chair and Honorable Member, let me repeat that I agree with you that there's a general challenge of unemployment, particularly of our young people and disabled people and women in particular. We are at least consoled by the fact that we are all up and saying they need access, as our president says, leave no one behind as we reconstruct, as we rebuild our country after the shackles of apartheid and COVID-19. I did say also we will also be calling upon not only the usual departments, but also the fact that we now have information technology. We use it because that's one sector that disabled people who at least have some hands can do that, or who have some disability can make use of the innovate through the IT. We are all hands on deck, and we are not doing this alone. We're doing it and making sure that it's being driven by the youth or with the youth through the NYDA, National Youth Development Agency. As I was reading out the figures that we had complied with them earlier. I thank you.
Thanks, Minister. The next follow-up question is going to ask by Honorable Nchabeleng.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for your response to the question. The response is indicating some of the initiatives by government in assisting with skills development. The question is, Minister, are there any partners that the government is working with to achieve these noble goals, objectives? Thank you.
Thanks, Honorable Member. Minister.
Yes, Honorable Chair. The first partner is the organization that works with us, with the president. On disability. There is a special agency that works with people with disability that we are serving as secretariat as they sit and chat out their strategies, but they are led we are led by the president. Having said that, we all have a responsibility to use the government-owned financial institutions to also contribute, as the NYDA will also be contributing towards making sure that we make the lives of disabled people better in our country, working with all other departments. Thank you.
Thanks, Minister. And now, honorable members who are on follow-up question number 4, that is going to ask by Honorable Motsamai. Honorable Motsamai. Okay. Motsamai.
Ke a leboga letona. Batho ba ba phelang ka bokoa ba lebagane le mathata a gore ga ba kgone go ikemela ka madi. Tona, ke matsapa a feng a o a tsereng go thusa batho ba tlhagileng ka bokoa? Ke a leboga.
Thanks, Honorable Motsamai. Honorable Minister.
Honorable Chair, I did say that la potso ya mololoko wa tlhomphegang gore re šomišana le ba social development. Ga re ke ra fa ga re na letseno rena re le bagoro e tsamayang thwi e ya kwa matsogong a batho bao re šomago le bona ka ntle le go šoma le bao ba nago le tše e lego matseno a swantšeng a lebelelang le batho bao rena re šomišana le bona ka policy. So re a ba eletša gore ba leke ka maatla gore ba tlhokomele boraditšhelete or financial institutions tše e leng tša mmušo le tše e seng tša mmušo gore di kgone go thuša batho bao re reng ga ba kgone go itlamela ba tlhoka thuso ya puso.
Thanks, Minister. Honorable Minister, we continue now with our question number 42 that have asked by Honorable Nsube. Honorable Minister.
The Presidential Working Group on Disability is made up of representatives of the civil society organizations for persons with disabilities and serves as an advisory body to advise the President on all matters regarding the disability sector. The Presidential Working Group has set up 9 work streams in line with key priorities of government and monitors the implementation thereof. The Department of Women, Youth, and Persons with Disabilities serve, as I said earlier on, as a secretariat for this entity. Government departments have made commitments in line with set priorities and report on progress annually to the President and the Presidential Working Group.
Thanks, Honorable Minister. Honorable Nsube.
Working Chair. Oh. No, thanks, Honorable House Chairperson. Let me also appreciate the response by Honorable Minister. I just want to check that based on the progress reports by different government departments, is there any progress in the implementation of the commitments made faster? Thank you very much, Honorable House Chairperson.
Thanks, Honorable Member. Honorable Minister.
Well, there was a call, Honorable Chair, made once again yesterday by the President that we have one government. Departments are to be the enablers, that we do not work through silo mechanism, but work together. That's why I keep repeating the leave no one behind as we rebuild and reconstruct South Africa. If we reduce, see, sometimes I say we because I don't want to sound otherwise. Silo mentality goes with when they say bring about accountability and how you are championing the cause that you have been given. You think you should go it alone, but we work better if we coordinate our activities and work as one government.
Thanks, Honorable Minister. The next follow-up question is Honorable Msamai. Oh, Mletsane, sorry.
Thank you, Chairperson of the session. My question is as follows. People with disabilities face a number of human rights violations, including stigma, lack of access to education, and lack of employment opportunities. Which programs, Minister, are currently in place for facilitating the successful economic participation of persons living with disabilities within provinces? Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Honorable Mletsane. Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Chair. I think Honorable Member has actually asked the question, but also provided with the how should we go ahead. I did say that through the Presidential Working Group, all disabilities, disability groups bring their representatives to say this is an area there where we need attention now, and that gets followed up accordingly. We do not sit back as the Secretariat and design programs for them, but they design programs and bring them to the table, and what we do is to support. There's also a saying that comes from the people with disabilities, persons with disabilities, that nothing about us without us. They want absolutely nothing that gets done about them without them. So we work with them and take lead from that which they are pointing at as a priority area, and that's how we've been doing.
Thanks, Honorable Minister. I would now like to call Honorable De Bruin.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Minister, I have a three-part question being, how many programs for the empowerment of disabled persons are currently funded by the state? And what is the estimated annual cost of these fundings? And then what are the plans in place to motivate the public sector to contribute to funding these programs? Thank you.
Thanks, Honorable Member. Honorable Minister.
Well, Chair, I did say that as far as finances are concerned, we depend on other departments. This is by law. There's no budget financial that comes to the department, but our responsibility is to guide and work with monitoring and evaluation to guide the policies so that disabled people do not get left behind. Now that we realize that there's a need, we will insist on that from other departments and bring it in writing to the good house. I thank you.
Thanks, Honorable Minister, honorable members. Now we're coming to our fourth follow-up question that is going to ask by Honorable DR Ryder.
Thank you, House Chair. Minister, Stats SA has confirmed that after 28 years of ANC government, more than 90% of people with disabilities in rural areas remain unemployed. So if in fact there is anything that you're doing, it's not working. And I think the performance this afternoon answering questions has told us why. Minister, what initiatives has the Presidential Working Group on Disabilities launched to put our disabled people into decent jobs?
Honorable Minister.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I did not come with a list. First, safe to say that through the Presidential Working Group, there are provincial representatives, and they also keep their records on how they work with the disabled people. So if that is the need or the instruction from your good self and the house, that we must bring that to your good selves, that we will do. But for today, the Presidential Working Group on Disability meets annually with the President to assess progress made by the government. In 2021, workshop was held with the department, with our own department, and 13 priority areas have been generated. They are linked action plans and performance indicators in line with strategic plans and aligned to the medium-term strategic framework of government with to departments identified to deliver on target. Successes recorded are that the government departments have identified key deliverables and made commitments for implementation. To date, the Department of Basic Education hosted an inclusive education summit. A commitment was made to host a transport summit and an economic empowerment summit for persons with disabilities. The Presidential Working Group is also a forum of engagement on planning, consultation, and disability rights is also put on the agenda. Our department was part of the consultation of the issue of paper on paper towards development of disability rights legislation processes towards the ratification of the AU Protocol on Disability and the frameworks, awareness, self-presentation, universal design and access, and reasonable accommodation. Reasonable accommodation also being really quite key or a priority. I thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Honorable Minister. Honorable delegates, I would like now to thank the Minister MECs, and all permanent and special delegates for availing themselves. Honorable members, I would like also to make an announcement that tomorrow there will be a Women's Charter event, Western Cape, tomorrow at a live conference center, Sea Point. Honorable members, honorable delegates, that concludes the business of the day. The House is adjourned.
Recording stopped.
Thank you, Mama.